You are listening to Phone Eats First. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Phone Eats First, a podcast about romanticizing life and finding inspiration inside and outside of the kitchen. My name is Corey May, Corey in the Kitchen. However you found me, however you know me, hi, hello. I am so happy you're here, whether you're listening in your headphones, watching on video, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast. I think that's all the places. I don't really know. I'm everywhere now. I'm in your face. I'm in your ears. I'm all over the place. And hopefully that continues to stay the trend. I'm having so much fun with this video. And it's honestly not as hard as I thought. So that's a win. But today's episode is all about, I'm kind of getting back to my roots. We're going to talk about how to romanticize your weekday evenings to really maximize your days and really just make the most of your evening, and I'll make sure that you have that separation of your workday, your personal life, your evening, because I know it's easier said than done, and it's really hard to not just look forward to the weekend all the time. It's really important to have fun on weekdays and literally just enjoy your life and have not just be thinking about work all the time. So before we get into that, I have a dense weekly report. So let's get into the weekly report. All right, I am almost done with A Core of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. That's the 5th book in the ACOTAR series and the final book in the ACOTAR series, and I'm going to be really sad when I finish it. Realistically, I'll probably finish it today. And I'm excited to finish it, but I'm sad because I'm going to have to mourn the loss of all these characters that I've come to know and love over the summer. So that's going to be sad, but that means I get to start Throne of Glass. I'll probably read like a little rom-com in the middle just to get a break of like this fantasy world. All right, eating. I am eating lots and lots and lots and lots of protein and just whole foods. So meat, specifically beef. I'll throw in salmon and chicken or like chicken sausage, but then also just yogurt, dairy, eggs, cottage cheese. Not saying eggs or dairy. That just got thrown in there out of order. I put cheese on everything, like Parmesan cheese, Fairlife milk. And I tried to almost count my protein per day, but that doesn't really work for me. So, but I just know if I'm eating whole real food, I can't not be full and satiated and happy and healthy. So that's what I've been eating a lot of, mainly because I've just been home for a while now. I mean, believe that or not, which means I can get a lot of groceries and stock up and have healthy protein, meal prep, have things ready to go. Like I don't buy snacks. My snack is a yogurt bowl or a smoothie bowl, or I just make a meal like beef and sweet potatoes and insert vegetable. Okay, plan. I am going to recap my Saturday yesterday because I had the most amazing Saturday. Just everything that was happening, I was like, oh my God, this is such a good day. So it started off strong with a workout class. I went to Core Power and did a yoga sculpt class with my friend Casey, who was here for the UNC game. And then after that, we went to Whole Foods and got a coffee and just, talked and caught up for like an hour, which was great. I never get to see her. And also, I did a workout class, which I'm doing another one here shortly after. So if you're watching on video, I can already guarantee after the weekly report, I'm going to be drenched in sweat, hair up, different outfit probably, because I'm doing another hot yoga class because Core Power has 1 week free. So since Casey was like, let's do a workout class, which also big plug right there. If you want to hang out with a friend and like me, don't really want to drink, don't want to, I don't know, like you don't always want to go out to dinner and like spend money and just do the whole thing. She was like, hey, let's do a workout class. I was like, what a good idea. It's going to cost the same amount of money, or in my case, free. And now I'm going to go to a week of yoga, which is fantastic for me. So I recommend if you need something to do and just like want a new activity with someone or by yourself. I'm going today by myself. So recommend that. So had coffee, and then I had a special visit from my nieces and then my brother and his wife. And we went to the farmer's market together, which I have never seen so many people at the farmer's market in Raleigh. It was as if the sun did not shine. And yesterday was the first day the sun was out. There were so many people. And I was like, it's either because people think it's like the last summer weekend or like the first fall weekend. We're in this like weird intermission. But there were so many people at the farmer's market, which I love because it was poppin'. But like the mums were out. There were not pumpkins, but you could just tell it was starting to get to that fall feeling. There were a lot of vendors out there, and I stocked up, obviously, and they did as well. And my nieces went apple picking in the morning. How wholesome and cute. And then afterwards, we went and got lunch. So it was just fun. My family never comes to me. We always meet at the beach. So that was a nice little mix up. And then afterwards, went to Trader Joe's. Obviously loved that. And then had an everything shower, which I haven't had one of those in forever. And if you don't know what that is, it probably means you're a male or my mom. Hey, an everything shower is when you know, deep clean your hair, do a hair mask, you shave, you exfoliate, it ends up being a 15-minute shower, and that's okay. And afterwards, I was just like, put on my cozy clothes, watched football, made dinner, had charcuterie for dinner. That was fun. And then I actually, believe it or not, watched a movie last night, which if you know, you know, I don't watch movies or TV. I'll have football on, but I'm not like actively sitting and watching. So we watched The Dark Knight last night, and it was a very good movie. I would almost classify it as a thriller. Like, you're literally just like, oh my God, what is going to happen next? And it's such a well done movie. Like, every single plot twist with the Joker and Batman, and like just how clever and brilliant literally just the Joker is, aka the directors of the movie. Like, it really just keeps you thinking, because you're like, oh my God, how did he think to do that to get Batman there to then try and like attack him or kill him or whatever it is? I don't know. It was a good movie. If you haven't seen it, recommend. And then today, I've just had another wholesome day. Slept in, and it's like 62 degrees in Raleigh right now. So it's just, we're at home. We're at peace. It's almost fall. We're doing good. Another plan. Sorry, I told you this was a dense weekly report. This week, I'm going to see Giggly Squad tomorrow, which is a podcast by Hannah Berner and Paige DeSorbo, and they are hilarious. If you need a podcast to listen to and literally want to giggle, like, please listen to them. They're so funny. So I have that tomorrow, and then a concert on Tuesday, going to see Goth Babe, and then I have a work trip in St. Louis, Missouri. I can't stay away. I love St. Louis. But yeah. That's the P of the weekly report. Now we've got obsession. I've got 3 things. Shocker. 1, as you probably knew, as I just hinted at, it is fall weather here in North Carolina, or it's like starting to. It's almost like even better because it's like warm. Like, just now I went on a walk in leggings and a tank top because it was so warm outside. I would just like felt the sun on my skin. But when I woke up, I was outside having my coffee. Literally had to go inside and put on a hoodie and slippers because I was cold. So I love that. Number 2 obsession is the Trader Joe's hair mask and hair serum. I did it last night in my everything shower, and I'd had the hair mask before, and I liked it. I was like, yeah, it works, but I think last night I just used it very properly and like actually let it like sit in my hair, and my hair is so silky soft right now and voluptuous. It's so good. And of course it's cheap. Like, probably both of the things are maybe like $10-$12 total. Recommend. And then lastly, I have these pajama pants from Target. They're fleece ribbed and they are so soft. I actually saw them on TikTok and I was like, yeah, I need those because I'm a big pajoot girl, which is matching PJ set, specifically from Target. Their pajamas are really good. And so these pants were sent to me on Instagram and I was like, ooh, those look awesome. And then I conveniently had to return something at Target, checked them out. And they're just like they're thin, but like oversized and still cozy and like super baggy. If you like to be cozy, you need these pants. All right. Our recipe. This is one I can't really vouch for, but I think I'm going to try and tweak it a little bit and see where it goes. So I saw this on TikTok and I was like, that definitely is something I needed to try. It's cottage cheese cookie dough. Yeah, I was skeptical too. Don't worry. You do a cup of cottage cheese, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a scoop of vanilla protein powder. I did chocolate just because I'm a chocolate girl and I only did a little bit. And then you mix in almond flour, like fold in almond flour, some peanut butter, and then chocolate chips, obviously. And it definitely gets to that, or you blend the cottage cheese, important details. It's not like curd, don't worry. But you blend it and then fold all the dry ingredients in. It wasn't bad, but I could still taste the cottage cheese. And maybe that's the point. Maybe some people like that, but I don't really vibe with cottage cheese like that. So I don't know. And I think mine maybe needs like a little bit more moisture, maybe. I don't know. I do get the hype though. Like, I think it's a really clever recipe and idea, especially someone like me who loves a sweet treat and loves protein. So that's a win-win. But I'm going to kind of tweak it and report back. But I mean, worth trying if you are a health nut like me and also have a sweet tooth like me. And then lastly, my treat for this week are farmers market cookies. There is one specific stand at the Raleigh Farmers Market that has cookies the size of my face, and they are so good. I got 2 yesterday and had the willpower to not eat them yet. Low-key just kind of forgot about them, so I'll probably have one today. But I got a German chocolate. It's like double chocolate. It literally looks like a brownie, like how it gets kind of like that crispy layer on top. And then a chocolate peanut butter cup one. They're so good and thick and massive. I'm not a big cookie person, but these cookies are 10 out of 10. All right, that was a long one. Sorry, guys. But that is the weekly report. Now let's get into today's episode. So like I said, this episode is going to be all about just kind of how I romanticize my weekday evenings and really just kind of rewire my brain to just have that separation of a work day and an evening and my personal life and just get all the things I want to get done and also the things I need to get done and try and just, keep my head on my shoulders, which is really hard to do. And this is also kind of hard for me to put into words, which is also the point of a podcast. So I'm going to do my best to try and explain how my mindset works when I get home from work and why I do the things I do and how I do them, and hopefully it helps. But first, we're going to have a little disclaimer just because obviously I'm going to sound like I'm shitting on my job, and I'm not. If you work with me, if you're my boss, if you're listening to this, like, mind your business. Sorry. This isn't about not liking my work day. I'm not here to complain about work or the work day and sometimes just like how work sucks your soul away. I love most of my job and I really do appreciate the routine that my workday provides me, like getting up and, having a reason to get up, having a reason to leave the house, having a reason to plan my meals and do all the things and just, schedule my life. So what I am here to do is just kind of discuss the issue and provide some potential solutions for how to find the balance in our lives and workday and personal life so that we can have the time to do the things that we need to do, like eat, exercise, sleep, and also potentially have time to do the things that we enjoy doing, like cooking, like really cooking, not just like eating a frozen meal or something, like having time to go to the grocery store, prep your ingredients, have like an hour-long meal, have time to go to a fun workout class that might not be right down the street, have time to hang out with friends, watch TV, watch a football game, go to a concert, whatever it is. Or also just like the little things like reading a book, painting your nails, doing art, like literally whatever it is. It's really hard to find time to do all these things in these short windows around a workday. So the problem that I'm really kind of summarizing here is it's hard to have a standard 9-to-5 job that sucks a lot of time out of our days because it's not just a 9-to-5. We're waking up at 7 to have the time to actually, enjoy our coffee, make our breakfast, not feel rushed. I mean, I know a lot of the population wakes up 20 minutes before they leave the house. That will never be me. Talk about an anxiety attack. That would be me. So if this isn't you, I don't know what to tell you, but this is me. I wake up at, honestly, I try and get up at 6 so I can work out, but that hasn't happened recently. That's another story. I mean, realistically, get up at 7, leave at 8, get to work at 9, work till 5, but you're actually leaving at 5:30 because if you leave at 5 and 5:30, you're going to get home at the same time because traffic is so bad. And then you get home, you're hungry, you want a snack, you want dinner, you can't decide, so you eat a little bit of both, you maybe eat too much, and then you can't really work out because you're full or you're like, like the timing's weird. You also need to walk your dog. You also need to, do laundry. You need to go to the grocery store. You just have all these things that you need to do, but also you don't want to do anything. You just want to decompress. You want to sit on the couch and scroll on Instagram or TikTok or like call your friends or like you just want to, or you literally just want to do nothing. You just want to like sit and relax, just like take a minute. because work is hard. It takes a lot out of us mentally and socially. I mean, you're talking to people all day long, you're interacting with people all day long, and it's like not typically the people you want to be wasting your social battery on. But you guys, I think you get what I'm saying. And then before we know it, we're home from work 6:30. We're decompressing. It's 7, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I need to make dinner. I need to work out. I need to walk the dog. I need to do all these things, and I want to go to bed before 10 or 11 or 12, whatever your time frame is. And it's hard because you want to do all these things, and if you do all these things, you're tired. You're going to bed late, and if you don't do all these things, then you feel like you've wasted an evening. I mean, maybe not. Again, I might not be speaking to you. I know a lot of people, I have a different mindset than a lot of people, but if you don't do these things, then you don't have that separation you need to feel like you have a life outside of your workday. So that's kind of the problem too of all this, is just like how to find the time to then figure out how you're going to fit in what you need to do and want to do. And now a few things. Like I said, if you don't relate at all to what I'm saying and you don't have these problems and you just like have the perfect balance of a work and personal life, like please run for president and teach us all what you're doing. Other thing, if you have a more flexible work schedule and like, you know, don't drive 2 hours to and from work every day like me, you're doing better than me. You're a step ahead. Good job. I wish that wasn't my case, but that's just my current situation, and I am happy with the situation. I chose where I live. I chose where I work. So that's definitely one of my big issues, is just like the amount of time I spend in a car. But I know that's realistic for a lot of people. A lot of people travel for 30 minutes, or they take the train into New York City for like 45 minutes to and from every day. And like those people don't just hop in a car and drive. They have to take a bus to a train to a subway to another subway. Couldn't be me. Literally could not be me. But it's a lot of people, and I know a lot of people will at least relate to a few things I'm saying here. And so I also just want to clarify in this episode that this separation of work and personal life isn't just so you can figure out how to have a side hustle and break world records and learn a new language all at the same time. I'm talking about how to find balance just so you can do normal functioning human things like cook dinner, exercise, go to a workout class, go on a leisurely walk with your dog, take time to clean in your kitchen and like do laundry and not feel rushed and like you are running out of time and chasing the clock like literally before you have to go to bed. And also maybe even like squeeze in an episode or two of your show or literally whatever it is. So here's my solution. I mean, it's not really a solution, but here's my proposition to you of how to try and really just maximize your days, your work life, your week. And that is, you need to learn how to romanticize your life. It really just means that you need to learn how to romanticize the little and big things that you're doing throughout your day when you get home from work. And really, this will allow you to rewire your brain to just enjoy everything you're doing. Because I know a lot of people don't enjoy coming home and unloading the dishwasher to then make dinner and then reload the dishwasher and just like repeat 24/7. But if you can kind of learn how to appreciate the little things and just be like, oh, I get to do this, so then I can do this. I really do enjoy doing this because then I have X, Y, and Z as an outcome. It'll really just allow you to view your days more positively and optimistically. And again, like appreciate the mundane and ordinary life that we all kind of live. And this might be psycho of me to even like say this, and this is why I'm saying it's hard to put all this into words of how I really do think, but it is so true. And I do think it's helped me really just maximize my days and like enjoy doing chores, enjoy doing the things that I want to do, need to do, have time to do. And I'll still like try and go to bed at like 10, 11, 12. And no, I'm not perfect. No, this doesn't happen to me every single day, but it's what I try to do. And it's kind of like what I preach to people I know, people that listen to me on the podcast, people that follow me on Corey in the Kitchen, is really just like appreciating our life and well-being and health and good food and quality time and being home and just like living a life that you love. And so I've kind of listed out a few different things that specifically I do, but hopefully it can translate to what you do or what you want to do so that we can all just romanticize life and have separation of our work and evenings and feel like a human, not just an employee. But I'm going to pause and go to my hot yoga class. So I will come back looking sweat. I'm back from my yoga class. I'm obsessed with core power. It might become my new personality, one may say. I don't know. I love it. Like, it was one of those classes today where I just kind of got chills when everyone's doing curls or squats or whatever the movement is, and the music's just, everything is on beat. Like, I literally get chills. I don't know if that's a shared human experience, just me. I don't know. But anywho, back to the episode. So I presented kind of the problem of trying to just have a life outside of work. Like, that's the summary of kind of what this is about, and how to just balance emotions, things you need to do, increase your efficiency and maximize the fun and everything that you like think you should be doing during the weekdays, but it's really hard to do. And so I don't really have a solution, but I have suggestions. I have what I do. And am I a pro? No. Am I always happy? No. Am I always having fun? No. Do I go to bed at like 10 sometimes? Yeah. And I absolutely love that. Sometimes I get in bed at 8, and for me, that is the dream. Interlude for a sip of my kombucha. In a wine glass, of course. So I came up with a list of 5 ways or 5 things to kind of think about, focus on, do in order to learn how to romanticize your evenings and weekdays and everything in between. So number 1 is just having a to-do list, a plan, an outline, whatever you want to do, whether this is in your notes on your phone, which is what I do, or if it's in a planner, if it's in your head, if it's on your Google Calendar outlined to a T. Great, go for it. But this way you can really just maximize your time, because nothing's worse than kind of just going into your week blindly. And I mean, one thing if you go into your week blindly just because you don't have anything that you need to plan out or you have excess of time, whatever. Okay, great. Good for you. But if you're like me and I'm just a very busy person. And even when I'm not busy, I make myself busy. That's a personal problem I need to work on. Yeah, I'm aware. But overall, it's just so you can, one, maximize your time for meals. What nights are you cooking dinner? What nights are you eating leftovers? Do you have a birthday dinner? Are your parents coming to town and are you going out to eat? Or do you just like know you have a lot of stuff in the freezer and you want to try and just go leftover frozen food route? That's fine. But I have found it's a lot easier for me to plan out my meals. And then that way, well, one, it helps with grocery shopping, obviously. But then it kind of takes the stress and question out of what am I going to have for dinner? And another piece of that, which I'll touch on this later down the line, is when you are mapping this stuff out and just your plan in general, this is a guide. This isn't a set in stone plan. So for example, there was one week I was going to start this fitness program that Health with VA made. Sorry, I only did one day. Nothing against the program. It's me. I am the problem. But it doesn't work for me. I need someone telling me what to do, like in my face and in my ears. That's why I like Peloton and workout classes. Anyway, back to what I was saying is I made this like weekly schedule that was broken out by every minute of the day. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try and wake up at this time so that I can do the workout by this time, be done at this time, showered by this time, and off to work. And then when I get home, I have to do X, Y, and Z, which I didn't map out my evenings, but just in general, I was trying to map out the time of my morning to really just like maximize that time. And I don't work that way. I can't. Because then if I'm a little bit late, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm off my plan. I can't keep it up. I might as well just not do any of it. So for me, I have found when I'm making these plans and guides and everything, it's good for me to have options and suggestions. So for example, this week for dinner, I know I have at the farmer's market, I bought ground beef and steak. And so with one of those meals, I'm going to have sweet potato and okra. With the steak, I'm going to do a salad. And so I don't necessarily know what I'm going to be in the mood for tomorrow. So I'm just going to put ground beef / steak. And then when I get home, whichever one I want, I'll eat. And then for my Tuesday lunch, because I always bring leftovers, I have ground beef / steak, because that just means the leftover what I have for tomorrow night. And then that way it's like, okay, I had 2 options. I went with one, and it just like allows you to feel like you have more of a choice and more flexibility, and also just kind of like a backup plan for when things don't exactly go. Because if I like mapped everything out and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have salmon on Wednesday night, and Wednesday night comes around and I want absolutely nothing to do with salmon because that happens, then you're not trapped, you're not stuck. It's like, okay, maybe if I didn't want salmon, I can go for like breakfast for dinner or whatever it is. So that's kind of what I mean by this is all a guide. And then the same thing applies with meals as it does with your workouts, at least for me. And like I was just talking about that fitness program, the last 2 weeks, I have really been trying to get back on a workout routine. And again, I tried to have this like, this day you're going to do this day you're going to do this day you're going to do this. And it just doesn't work for me. So what I've learned does work for me is I will put in my notes, okay, Monday, full body. Tuesday, upper or lower, whichever feels right at the time. Because, sometimes you are just absolutely so sore. The thought of doing another squat feels like your butt cheeks are going to fall off. And you need options. You need a way out. So then it's like, okay, do upper body. Wednesday, I typically play soccer at work. Very grateful for that. And then Thursday, Friday, to go with the flow of how your splits went earlier in the week. Or now if I'm doing these yoga classes, maybe I'll become just like a yogi and do yoga every morning. I don't know. But it just really allows you to, having a plan really allows you to maximize your time, and then you can squeeze in just more things. So if you have plans later in the week with friends, but you also have to do like a closet clean out or the most laundry you've ever had to do in your life, and on Tuesday or Wednesday you don't have plans, like do those on Tuesday, Wednesday, or like jot them in and do one on one day, one on the other, so that the time that you do have social plans, you're not also worried about chores or whatever it is. And then the other part of this, when you're kind of mapping things out, and you don't necessarily need to write any of this down, but just to kind of have a mental note, categorize things in your mind of what things you need to do versus things that you want to do. And so the importance of this is literally what I said, like some things you need to get done, and then those need to take priority over the things that you want to do, unfortunately. Or maybe if there's a lot of things you really want to do and those are really, really high on your list and maybe even more important than the things that you need to do, you're going to learn how to carve out time for everything that you want to get done. So things you need to do, you need to eat. You might need to do a certain chore, one or two, like spread it throughout the week or per day, however you kind of manage that. Or maybe you can push off all of your laundry till Saturday. That would give me not anxiety, but I would just feel gross. So I don't do things like that, but you know what I mean. Do you need a shower? Do you need an everything shower? Do you need to just rinse off? Just think about these things. And then packing for a work trip, that's a need. For example, I'm going out of town on Wednesday morning, but tomorrow night and Tuesday night I have plans. So I am packing today, like after I record this podcast. Do I want to? No. But do I need to? Yes. And then that way I'm not up until midnight, 1 a.m. on Tuesday night before my really early flight Wednesday, because I am the queen of procrastinating packing. Like I'll probably still be up late, like literally just packing up my toiletries just because it happens every time. I don't know why. And then another part of a need versus a want is exercise. And I put it under need just because it's the easiest thing to kind of push to the wayside and be like, oh no, I just want to exercise, I don't need to exercise. Just getting movement in is so important because it's going to release endorphins, all of that. It's going to literally make you feel better. And so it's one of those things that I'm always like, oh, it's already 7, it's already 8. Like, I mean, if it's already 8, I probably won't work out, but I mean, maybe I'll take Callie for a walk because for me, that is so easy. And I know that it doesn't stress me out. Like I love a walk, but the thought of doing a 30-minute Peloton, like that can kind of stress me out. It'll get my heart rate up, like all of those things, or just finding those pockets of time for the right moment to do all of these things. But I suggest making exercise a need just because this is one of those things where you kind of need tough love, not necessarily taking it easy all the time. Like it's really easy to be like, oh, like, I had a really hard day. I've had a really hard week. Like I'm just going to take it easy and not work out. Like I deserve a break. But also sometimes you need to know when to push yourself a little bit harder, which isn't easy. There's no recipe for how to know when to push yourself harder and force yourself to work out versus when to give yourself a break. So definitely easier said than done, but that's kind of my approach to that. And then some things that you want to do. So this could be trying a new recipe for dinner, which means you're probably going to need to go grab a few more ingredients, or it's going to take you a little bit longer. You might mess up. You might need to start over. I can't say I would ever start over, but I mean, maybe if you royally mess something up, you might need to. Do you have a date that you want to go on? Do you want to go on an extra long walk, listen to a new podcast? Like, that's 45 minutes versus your regular 30. Do you have a hobby you want to work on? So like making sourdough, editing a podcast, becoming a vlogger. I don't know, even just reading a book. Like, I know tonight I want to read my book for like 30 minutes, sit on the couch and just veg out. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my approach of prioritizing just your time, what you need to do so that you are going into the week just kind of on the right foot. And also, if you don't do this on Sunday and you do this on Monday morning or even Monday afternoon, evening, like, that's fine. I don't want you actually to take time from Sunday to stress about the work week, because Sundays are sacred and I just love a Sunday. I don't want to be worrying about anything on a Sunday. And the last little piece, just to reemphasize that I kind of mentioned earlier, is this whole plan and list and to-dos that you're making. I can't stress enough, it's a guide. It's not a set in stone thing. Like, you're just setting intentions and goals for your week. You're not setting yourself up for failure because if you miss a workout or a meal or a date or whatever it is, like if it's a want or a need or fun or something new, something you do every day, if you're behind on chores, you're just setting a guide for yourself. So you need to learn what format works for you of just planning and scheduling and all of that. Okay, number 2 of how to romanticize your weekdays and really just maximize everything that you're ever doing in life and just how to be happy, all of the things. But number 2 is figure out what activities make you happy and feel good. Like, pay attention to the things that you're doing. Are you going on a walk and that allows you to decompress after work? Like, you genuinely feel less anxious, your head's clear. Or maybe on a walk, all you do is think about whatever is stressing you out and that doesn't work for you. And you need to go to a workout class where you're around people and just kind of being yelled at in the face, sweating, going crazy. Maybe that's your vibe. Can't say that that's mine. It's so hard to get over the hump of needing to decompress after work. And I totally get that. Like, I'm human. I don't get home and immediately cook dinner and work out and all these things. Like, that's not what I do. Do I have a 45-minute car ride to try and decompress? Yeah, but typically that's still not even enough. And so basically what I kind of do is there's like 3 categories for me. 1, when I get home from work, some days I'm just hangry. And so I need to have a snack immediately. I need to have dinner immediately. I can't think about anything else. And so I do that. That one, we know what the fix is. So that one's easy. But the other 2, one, I could just be exhausted, like mentally, physically, emotionally, not as much with work, but sometimes emotionally. And so if you're feeling that way, how tired are you? Do you need a nap? Okay, cool. Take a 20-minute nap. Or do you actually just need to lay on your bed, sit on the couch, and just scroll on your phone for a little bit, read a book for a little bit? Sometimes you just need that time, because if you keep pushing off, like if you keep forcing yourself to get over your tiredness, you might just keep getting more tired. And then before you know it, you actually are just sitting on the couch for like an hour and a half, or you go to bed really late because you're just like scrolling and your mind's tired and you haven't been able to separate your brain from whatever it is you have been doing to what you want to do or need to do. And then the last thing is, if you're anxious or antsy, which is kind of typically how I am when I get home, I have to go on a walk or work out. Typically I walk Callie first because I just walk around the neighborhood. I love it. We go for like a 30-minute to an hour long walk. I typically listen to a podcast. Sometimes I just leave my phone and earbuds at home and just really need to unplug. But that is the best way for me to just decompress and clear my head and unwind. And then when I get home, I can make a more conscious decision of what to do next, whether that's eat dinner. Am I okay enough to like get a workout in? Like, what do I need to do? What do I want to do? And then go from there. And so just try a few different things. I mean, again, easier said than done because time and money and all of these things are limited resources, but try some things and see how you feel after and go from there. Does the walk make you feel good? Does the workout class make you feel good? Does going to a pottery class make you feel good? Like, whatever it is, just try and figure it out, and you will always be figuring it out. So don't be hard on yourself on this one when you get home and you don't really know what kind of your first step is. Okay, number 3 is, and this is arguably the most important one. So there are going to be little things that you can do throughout your day and evening, workday, like life, to just spice it up. And I wrote, gives you that main character energy, because I know you've all heard that. But this is just a mini list of examples of things that you can do. And these are easy, typically free things that you can do to just spruce up a more mundane chore, or honestly just something that feels very repetitive. So one of my favorites, and I'm doing it right now, is drink a fun little beverage out of a wine glass. I have kombucha right here. Sometimes it's seltzer water, sometimes it's regular water, could be wine. I try to avoid alcohol like at all costs, so this is why I go for more of that like mocktail route. If you are typically someone that goes for a glass of wine during the work week and you're looking to change that, this is kind of like a substitute, because you still feel like you're having a drink because it's out of a wine glass. Like, why would that not be wine, right? But it's just something else fun. And it is something that I kind of treat myself to when I'm grocery shopping. Like, if there's a fun little drink at Trader Joe's, or there's a new kombucha flavor, whatever it is, I'll typically grab it just so I can kind of try it. And it's like a mocktail. But I always have one of these when I'm cooking dinner. It feels fancy. It feels fun. Another one is, and this is an easy one, but listening to music or podcast, or turning on your favorite show, like background noise, or a YouTube video, whatever it is, while you're walking or cooking or cleaning. Like, I always have music on, or if I come back from a walk and I'm really into my podcast, I'll keep my podcast in while I'm cooking and then probably turn on another one. But it allows my mind to just chill, and I don't know, it's always just fun to have music on. It just makes you happier. Another one is having good food in your fridge, so that when it's time to cook, you're excited to cook. Or when you are hangry, you have something in the fridge that you look forward to and are excited to have. And another one is having just a clean space. This isn't really, I wouldn't say romantic, but having a clean space just allows you to have a clean mind. If you get home and there's a pile of laundry, or there's dirt everywhere, or there's just like the kitchen's dirty, you're not going to be able to relax, because you're like, oh, I need to do all these things. Or maybe you're a boy and you can't do those things. Girls can't relate. But just overall, like, working towards always having a clean home, because then you are free to do whatever you want in your home because it's already clean. And then lastly is treating yourself to like a new item, or like I said, like a new beverage at the grocery store every once in a while that you're going to be excited for, and kind of might motivate you to whatever the category of new item is, like whether it's like a glass of kombucha to cook dinner, or maybe every once in a while you get a new workout set so that you're more excited to work out and go to a class or do your evening workout routine. Or another one that I thought of is lighting a candle when you're cleaning or cooking. Just like get a new fall scented candle, whatever it is. Get a new book. That's my personal favorite, so that you're excited to read and like get in bed, because you're like, ooh, it's time to get in bed and read. You get the idea. Okay, number 4 way to romanticize your life and kind of learn how to do all of this is to set boundaries. So there's a lot that could be said about setting boundaries, and it applies to so many facets of life. But setting boundaries during the work week, I think, is key to allowing yourself to live the life that you want, because it's really easy to, and on the weekends as well. This applies to any day of the week. But if you have a goal or a mindset or something that you're slowly working towards, or something that you have been working really hard to achieve, and you don't want to fall behind, maybe it's your fitness, maybe it's the way you've been eating, maybe it's the way you've just been sleeping or waking up and you're feeling good. Like, this falls into all of the mental, emotional, spiritual, all that wellness stuff, physical as well. And so by having boundaries, it allows you to, keep up whatever you're keeping up. So this falls into the categories. Alcohol, maybe you're someone that needs to tell yourself not to drink during the work week, or maybe only on Thursday or Friday, or maybe 2 nights a week, whatever it is. I personally don't often drink on the work week, so I don't need to necessarily set this boundary for myself, but I don't know. It's sometimes you do. Bedtime, this is a very important one. And it's kind of crazy to me, just as like humans, why it's so hard for us to go to bed. But in the morning, we're like, oh, we have to set an alarm to wake up. Try to set an alarm to go to bed, and to be like, okay, this is like, it is bedtime. It is time to wind down. Or maybe you set an alarm for at 7, I need to be done on my phone, or done working, or done exercising, whatever it is, so that your body can start to relax. Another one here is just making good food choices constantly. And this is obvious. This is everything I preach ever, but food is so important and everything in your body is connected and fueled by food. So eat the food that makes you feel good and you know will make you feel good, and don't eat crap. Eat your protein, avoid sugar. Like, you guys know what you need to do. Quality food is so important. So keep it up. And then lastly, being aware of your social battery. I mentioned this earlier, but it's really unfortunate that sometimes the social battery gets drained at work because you're like, oh, I mean, that's not really where I want to drain my battery, but sometimes it happens. And so just being realistic with yourself of where you are on your social battery level. Like, if you have plans tonight, but your social battery is so low, like, stay home if you know it'll make you feel better so that you can do whatever it is tomorrow night. Or just in general, like charging up for the weekend or saving some of your battery on the weekend to do things on Monday and Tuesday. Like, I'm literally going to a concert on Tuesday night this week and I'm really excited, and I'm kind of like, oh, I'm going to be tired, but like, I can't think that way. I just have to know that I will do everything else that I can to enjoy this one exciting thing that I have. It just happens to be on the work week. And then last but not least, we've got number 5. Have grace with yourself. We aren't supposed to have everything figured out. This is life. We are humans. We're going to mess up. We're going to get stressed. We're going to be lazy. We're going to get fat. We're going to get skinny. We're going to gain weight. We're going to lose weight. We're going to experiment with new foods and new people and new living situations. Like, everything is always changing, and that's also the fun thing about being a human. But if some days are harder than others, when you get home from work or on a Saturday or a Sunday and you are feeling more anxious or more sad or more tired, or you have extra energy and so much social battery to give and you don't know where to put it, this is life. This is just my guide to finding a little bit of balance to maximize the time that we do have, so that when the time comes to do this fun thing or to stay home and do chores all day, whatever it is, we can learn how to make all of these things more enjoyable and more fun, and just overall look forward to each new day that we have. So trying to learn the balance of when you need to be patient with yourself versus when you may need to give yourself a little bit more tough love. All of this is just going to kind of help determine where your motivation is going to come from. If you need a little bit more, if you have too much, I don't know, share your motivation with others. Also, another thing that just came to mind is have people in your life that you know can help motivate you to do certain things, or you know that can make you feel certain ways. So I have certain friends that I know if I'm driving, if I want to talk about X, Y, and Z subjects, I will call X, Y, and Z friends. Or if you know you're trying to push yourself a little bit harder working out or eating, like, have a friend or a family member that you trust and can help hold you accountable, but in the encouraging way that you need, whether it is tough love or grace or whatever it is. Just try and find these people in your life, and you're going to come across more people and less people every day that can fit these different roles for you. So, and also be that person for other people. Like, me and my mom are very good about sharing our meals and food and protein and workouts and everything. Like, if she works out, I'm like, oh, I should probably work out, and like vice versa. In summary, it's all about mindset and just having this positive outlook. And I am really not trying to be naive to the fact that a lot of people struggle with mental health and emotional health and their work-life balance. Maybe their job absolutely sucks and you're stuck in a job that you can't leave for financial reasons, or like whatever it is. Like, I know I'm privileged. I am in a really good position in my life, but I do also, I'm not going to take away from myself that I've worked hard to be where I am in my job, where I live, my mind, like everything I do is for my health and, well, not everything obviously, but most of the things that I do are really for the betterment of myself. And so I just really try and be thankful for the job that I have, but also grateful and excited for the time that I do have outside of work to just be the person and live the life that I want to be. So that was my 5 ways of how you can start to romanticize your life, specifically on weekdays after work, and really just learn to love Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But then it also will roll over to Saturday, Sunday. You'll get really good at this thing, I promise. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for listening or watching or both, wherever you're listening or watching. Let me know. I am curious. But thank you for listening to today's episode of Phone Eats First. Please leave a rating and review on Spotify or Apple. And follow me on Phone Eats First Pod on Instagram and YouTube now. And Corey_in the kitchen on Instagram. And we will talk soon. You are listening to Phone Eats First.